I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
That was all we needed.
Nicely done.
Continuing in a second, my microphone decided to jump off my shirt onto the floor. Moving on to item 4, project report. Dan, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
All right.
We've got built here, Mill Valley. The old building is now gone, foundations and all, and we've started with footings and masonry bearing walls. That'll continue probably for another 3 weeks or so, followed by a structural steel for the last component of the addition. Right? Then at the middle school, our enclosure is complete. We have roof on 100%. We're watertight. Exterior entrances are on, so it's now it's just finishes inside the building. We started laying floor in the lower level, south side of the building. Ceiling tiles will be going in later this month. We're painting in the library this week, and we got drywall going on at the main office entrance. Gym floor is going to start end of this month. And this week we're going to be bringing on the boilers and 2 of the rooftop units. And then every 2 weeks we'll be firing up another rooftop unit. Bypass lanes and emergency access drive, those drawings are out for bid right now. Bids are due end of the month, and we'll have a final number on where that allowance lands for the 2 bypass lanes and emergency drive. We still have over $750,000 in contingency remaining, and it's been over 10 months, and we still have no lost time accidents on the job. So it's going very well.
Any questions for Dan? Thanks for the update.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 5, consent agenda. Could I get a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Anything in consent agenda that needs separate consideration?
No, but I would like to ask a question or something.
Sure.
I'm willing to approve it. Just the Waukesha County Consortium Agreement, what sort of services are they offering that we don't get through CISA 1? 'Cause aren't many of our special needs covered under CISA 1?
This is the same Waukesha County agreement that we've had.
Right.
So it's the same.
I think I ask every year what the benefit is. And every year I think it makes sense, but could you?
We can follow up with you
Okay.
and share that with you. With Kari can tell you exactly why we're choosing these services over a different
That'd be
service.
great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Anything else under consent agenda that has questions or needs separate consideration? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to student representation.
I'll try to keep it short today. So last week we had the Muskego High School blood drives. It took about an hour and a half longer to get through than we were expecting, which was really good. I don't have exact numbers yet, but we had way more students and teachers actually come in than we were expecting to, which is awesome. The Blood Center really appreciates that. The boys basketball team lost, same as last week, to Kettle Moraine, but the girls basketball team won, yet again, proving that they're quite good. Gymnastics team won their conference over Arrowhead, which is huge. Hopefully they'll go to state and win again. That's just about it.
Musical opens this
Yeah,
Thursday?
musicals this weekend. Yeah, they have a couple of seats. They have some premier seating in the way back behind the really tall guy and on the sides beside the guy that talks the whole time. So, if you haven't got yours yet.
Any questions? Thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to public forum, this is your opportunity to address the school board on any items of concern, operations, or what's going on in school that you're concerned about. Going once, twice. Public forum is closed. Moving on to superintendent's report. Dr. Thompson.
Okay, we'll start with our recognition of our comm squad, who are all in the back. So we'll come up here to the front.
Yeah. I need to stand high.
You want to give a little brief
Sure.
explanation of your season?
The dance team consists of 34 girls, freshmen through seniors in high school. Our main focus is providing school spirit to the Muskego High School as well as community spirit. We do several competitions throughout the year, and we participated in January in the Badgerette State Championship, and they came away with 3 first place in their pom routine, their hip hop, and their jazz routine. So a very talented team of girls who deserve it.
Thank you, and thank you for your patience.
So we have a certificate of appreciation for each of you. I'm going to read the first one through, and then I'll just call up your names. And certificate of appreciation, the Muskego Norway School Board hereby commends Katie Albel for her contribution to the MHS dance team in 2018 Badgerette State Tournament. Through its dedication and pursuit of excellence, the MHS dance team earned a state championship in POMS, jazz, and hip-hop. The Muskego Norway School Board commends the MHS dance team for its outstanding performance and phenomenal accomplishments in earning first place in each of these 3 competition events. This has brought a tremendous honor to each of the team members, each family in the Muskego Norway schools and community. The school board congratulates Katie for her contribution and wishes her success in her future education and career endeavors, and it's signed by the board officers. Congratulations. Celine Balcone. And I apologize in advance if I start butchering some names, but I'll do my best. Isabella Brzezinski. Anna Callies. Aaron Conradi. Samantha Deacon. Jesse Dumorat. Chloe Drifka. Sydney.
Frederick Store.
Frederick Store. Jenna Herenda. Caitlin Harold. Jenna Horner. Mallory Hudson. Kaylee Kleber.
Thank you.
Alyssa Colasari. Brianna Coney. Olivia Crumray. Ellie La Rosa. Ellie Madej. Samantha Neohouse. Jenna Nemec. Rachel Papez. Samantha Pearson. Oh, absolutely.
We're happy with that.
Gabby Rank. Emma Ross. Schultz. Samantha. Stella. Callista Stanich. Lindsay Stogard. Tori Suito. Allison Thompson. Molly Volvart. Kayleen Waters. And Julie Wisniewski.
This is going to be interesting.
3 rows.
2 or 3?
2 or 3.
We do 2 rows? Awesome, ladies, thank you.
So has the school ever won all 3 in the same year before?
No, but we haven't.
That's amazing. All right, we're going to have to let's do 3. Yeah.
My little Kylie. My Kylie.
I'm gonna have to get over the projector and, okay, I think I got it. Ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, I'm just kidding, I got it. Do you need,
Any parents want a picture as long as we got them all?
Linda will share. Yeah.
All right.
we'll share. Good.
Congratulations, ladies.
Hey, nice. Very nice. That's a good one. Got 'em out.
Okay, well now we are ready for Tess Corner's annual report to the board, and Sarah Stanley, principal, will introduce her team. Thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you again for hosting tonight's meeting and for a wonderful dinner.
Wow, we were not expecting so many people. So happy to be able to host this evening, and wanted to be sure to remember to thank a lot of the people that are dependent on this being the wonderful night that we want it to be. So starting with our school board members, thank you for coming, traveling to our school, and spending the evening with us, letting us share a little bit about what we're about here at Tess Corners with you. The leadership team, especially Dr. Thompson, for giving us the opportunity here tonight. Really, most importantly, the whole reason we're here is the students, Tess Corner students. So if our student representatives could just stand or wave, let people know who you are. You truly are school superheroes. Our family partners. So we have our PTO president with us tonight, but if all of our family partners could wave or stand, let us know who you are. We're glad. Come on, parents. I know you're there. Okay. Our amazing art teacher couldn't be with us tonight, but just how wonderful she is exemplified all around you in the student work. We are so lucky to have Mrs. Hilgers, and so we recognize her. We also want to thank and recognize our custodial team for helping us get set up. And I want to note our student council advisors. They are the people behind the students that we're highlighting this evening. So Mrs. Greger, She's not here. Mrs. Dripka is here, and Mrs. Munslow also is not here. If the rest of the Test Corner staff could just stand for a minute so we could recognize you. Thank you for being here. And then this is where I just gladly get to pass the torch off to our presenters this evening. We have our instructional coach, Sergeant Clark, our speech and language pathologist, Kylie Herdrick, and one of our teachers here, fourth grade teacher currently, Emily Walsh. So these three amazing women put together what is called an Ignite presentation, and that is a pretty high-pressure, fast-paced presentation. They presented this at a state conference up in Stevens Point, and it highlights some of the most important work that Test Corners has been doing, and we are so excited to share it with you tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to this amazing trio.
Okay, so we are Test Corners Elementary, and this is our spinach story. Test Corners is part of Muskego Norway Schools. Our district mission is that every student learns, grows, and succeeds. Muskego is a community of 25,000 people located in southeastern Wisconsin. Test Corners School was established in 1838 in a small log structure. We currently have 455 energetic kindergarten through fourth grade students. We have 31 educators committed to every student. Our Spadig story began in 2013 with data that looked like this. The first column is our Closing the Gap in Reading Achievement data from 2011-12. Step back so you see it. Our score was 31.9 out of 50. The state score was 32.6. Our high-achieving suburban school with low diversity and low SES was basically performing at the same level as the rest of the state. The next column, this one here, is our 2016-17 Closing the Gap in Reading Achievement. Our score was 50 out of 50, a perfect score, well above the state average. Many practices and methods were tried to close this gap. The goal of this presentation is to share with you what we believe has been the most crucial initiative that has helped us close that reading achievement gap. We believe that powerful collaboration has closed the gap. To understand collaboration, members of the Spadig team visited Adlai Stevenson High School in Lincolnshire, Illinois. We read Learning by Doing. We very honestly evaluated ourselves using the PLC continuum. We believe that many of the practices and methods that we tried were effective. However, one thing has had the greatest impact on all Test Corner students. That is effective and purposeful collaboration. Along the 5-year journey of the Spadig grant, we have experienced a lot of growing pains. We know that collaboration is not planning for a field trip, scheduling aid time, or working out the kinks of recess release. Collaboration is a continuous cycle. We develop common understandings of standards, develop common formative assessments, evaluate student work, analyze data, explore effective instructional techniques, and then do that over and over and over again, each time learning more about our students and ourselves. So what do we believe about collaboration now? We believe in the collective expertise of our staff. We believe that all students can learn. We believe that collaboration can close the reading achievement gap. We believe that collaboration happens when members of a professional learning community recognize that they cannot accomplish their fundamental purpose of high levels of learning for all students unless they work together collaboratively. The collaborative team is the fundamental building block.
Our team at Test Corners shifted our mindset around the meaning of collaboration. This majorly impacted our students.
As we grew to be stronger educators, our students grew to be stronger learners. This is how our collaboration efforts changed one student's journey. For simplicity, we will refer to this student as she. She was a very happy, outgoing little girl, but when it came to academics, she had a self-deprecating mindset. When presented with a task, she often said, "I can't do that." We will be comparing her assessment scores to grade level benchmarks. The green coding depicts at or above grade level, while the red indicates below grade level. She was performing below grade level by the end of kindergarten. In first grade, she continued to struggle with staying focused. She often demonstrated impulsive behavior and task avoidance. Her academic achievement was falling below grade level benchmarks in all areas. She qualified for special education services in the areas of OHI and speech and language. During this time, our collaboration efforts consisted of quick conversations between the regular education teachers and special education teachers. Grade level PLC meetings did not include discussions around engagement or achievement of students with IEPs. She entered second grade with lots of energy and excitement. She had a great connection with a regular education teacher, which helped her significantly. However, she continued to struggle academically and with self-regulation. Often, particularly in the morning, she would have so much energy that she could not physically control herself, her body, or her voice. She could often be found physically running laps around the room, chatting with whoever was nearest. Her self-deprecating attitude continued as she often met academic tasks with "I can't," "I don't get it," or "it's too hard." Her special education programming was about 50% pull out of the classroom and 50% push into her general education classroom. She came back in third grade with the same amount of energy and excitement. She grew a great deal this year in her abilities to regulate herself and her body. She was no longer running laps around the room, though morning was still a very difficult time for her. She had a hard time getting work done and spent most time chatting with others. Her special education programming changed in that it was about 75% of instruction being delivered in her general education classroom, and only 25% was pulled out into a resource room setting. She had a great relationship with her general education teachers, as well as health room and special education staff. Though she was loved and supported throughout the year, her academic struggles continued. She perceived herself as too dumb to take on a challenge and would often voice that to others. Fourth grade was a year that completely transformed the student. Her special education programming was 100% inclusive and pushed into the classroom outside of a few speech and language minutes each week. Her reading block was moved from the morning time, as it had been in years past, to the afternoon. This proved to be highly beneficial, as she was able to regulate herself to read independently, access instruction, and participate during lessons. She participated in her first ever extracurricular activity, Girls on the Run, where her I can't statements, or "I'm not good at this," or "I'll never will," was replaced with "star power" and "I can't" statements.
Our student attended Tess Corners Elementary School. She is now in 5th grade. She and many other students have benefited from our work. Of our 455 students, we have 38 students with IEPs. These students receive support in speech and language, SDD, autism, EBD, OHI, or ID as their principal disability. At Tess Corners, we meet once a week as grade level PLCs, gather once a month around students with IEPs, and we promote a co-teaching model. Special education teachers are in the classroom every day. The next steps at Tess Corners are big work. The future holds many challenges and opportunities. We plan to incorporate families into our work in a systematic way. Our vision is that parents will help to make important decisions for our students. We plan to develop the same collaborative processes that we use for reading to mathematics. We plan to monitor students by name using the skill wheel matrix. We plan to grow the leaders in our school using the shared leadership model. This graph represents our growth. The first column shows reading proficiency of our special education students. In 2011-12, only 15.4% were proficient in reading, 84.6% were not. In 2016-17, 78.6% were proficient, 21.4% were not. Whereas we wish 100% of our students were proficient, the data shows a complete turnaround for our very special students. The moves that we have made, the growing pains we experienced, and our commitment to collaboration has made a difference for our kids. In the next year, we will meet our biggest challenge and greatest opportunity. Tess Corners School is closing its doors and merging with another elementary. We will move down the street and become Bay Lane Elementary School. While we are sad to close our school, we see an incredible opportunity to spread our philosophy of collaboration with other teachers within our system. Our goal is to use what we know about effective collaboration to help every student learn, grow, and succeed.
So at this point, it's just a matter of if any of you have questions for any of the presenters, myself, or Tess Corners representatives in the audience.
The comment. I'm just, knocked over on the progress that the school has made in the last few years. It's evident, and it's it wasn't a one year blip on it, and rather impressed by the turnaround that you've done over here. So thank you. Anyone?
Can't say any more than that.
Nicely done. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, parents, students, teachers, for being here with us tonight. And I know that you probably have a little bit of maybe reading homework to do or what have you, so feel free to sneak out now that our presentation is done. Thank you.
Thank you again. Excellent. The last item on the superintendent's report is the contributions to the profession. Just again reminding the board of some of the opportunities we reach out to our state and beyond to share our word, just as Tess Corners has done. And that concludes the superintendent's report.
All right. Moving on to other reports, board president's report. 5 of the 7 board members have completed our survey and our self-evaluation. So whoever the last 2 aren't, if you could, we'd appreciate it. You could probably take care of that in the next few days. It'll take about 5-10 minutes to jump through it, and then we can gather the results and share them with everyone. Any other board member reports?
I'll just go briefly. Two weeks ago, I was in Washington, D.C. as part of the WSB delegation to talk to senators and representatives. Didn't get as good of a reception as we did last year. The House passed the Carl Perkins Act, which helps in tech and other non-college career paths. Still waiting for the Senate to pass it. It sounds like everybody in the Senate wants to pass it, they just haven't gotten to it. So hopefully that'll be something that'll help our district out. It will help our district out if it can get passed. And the other was the IDEA, which helps students with disabilities, pushing to get that fully funded, or at least promised what they would have funded for it. So not as helpful as it was last year, but hopefully we can, things will happen. So that's it.
Thank you. Any other board member reports?
The only thing I have is to echo what Lisa brought up. The musical starts Thursday.
Thursday's opening night.
And runs through Sunday. And
Tickets are going fast, I hear.
Exactly. So looking forward to it.
All right. Plan on seeing you all there this weekend.
I will be there on Friday, and also on Friday, the girls' basketball team is at home. Regionals begin.
Thursday, boys are at home.
Thursday night, boys are at home. They finish their regular season against Arrowhead.
Lisa, do you have a student?
I do not.
No.
No. Not this year. She will be helping me usher.
All right.
I believe the football team beat Arrowhead.
They did. And the boys beat Arrowhead first round.
So if they did it once, they can do it again.
That's right.
They got probably a little chip on their shoulder from that sore loss that they had the other night at the buzzer.
That one.
So
That's tough.
it was a little tough loss there. All right, moving on with resolution action items. Item 10A, Muskego Youth Football Agreement.
Motion to approve agreement with the Muskego Youth Football as presented concerning a donation for purchase and installation of artificial turf.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
So what's in front of you is an agreement from the Muskego Youth Football. Jeremiah or Julie, do you want to give a summary of what the agreement is?
I can do it. So basically, the agreement is an agreement between the district and the youth football program group for a donation of $100,000 toward the turf field. There are conditions as far as the payments and how they're made over a 5-year period. It describes field use and charges that will be charged to the team for field use, so it'll be separate from our actual use policy that we have in place. So this will supersede that policy for the youth football program. Jeremiah, is there anything else?
Just that the field use fees cover the costs, the real costs of staffing the events. So much like the basketball programs, they use our facilities and we charge them costs for a tournament. This would be very much similar, so it'd cover the actual costs for the ongoing fees.
I think it's important to note that it's a huge commitment for an organization. And also, they've already put up $38,000, which 36.5 of that was basically without a firm commitment that we were going to have turf. So that's a great organization in our community, and I have no doubt that with or without the agreement that they would keep up their end of the bargain, and it's going to be a great addition to our community for youth football.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to item 10B, Gridiron Club donation agreement.
Motion to approve agreement with the MHS Gridiron Club LTD as presented concerning a donation towards purchase and installation of artificial turf.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. You wanna give us the highlights on that
The
too?
Gridiron has partnered with the district and with the youth football program to really raise all of the funds to date, over $700,000 for the purchase of turf, installation of turf for the district. And we know that there is about $35,000, just under $36,000 that was not yet raised, that the Gridiron has agreed to put in writing that they will contribute if we do move forward with the turf project to be able to fully fund the project. And so the agreement that you see in place, again, is a 5-year agreement to make those payments to the district. And they plan on doing that through Warrior Fest, which is a fundraiser that they run every year to raise a significant amount of money for the football program. And $7,000 of that per year will be contributed to close the gap that we are looking for.
Questions or comments?
Just once again, great organization. You have to remember that the Gridiron Club encompasses 4 grades in school, where the youth program encompasses kids from first grade through 8th. So you're looking at a total contribution outside of Impro of $55,000, which is a little over half of what the youth is bringing to us for this project. So they put a lot of hard work into it. And once again, I'm comfortable with the commitment and with or without the contract that the money would be coming in, because it's going to be, again, such a neat opportunity to have for our community.
And Paul, I just want to thank you and your group and for everything that you've done to date and will continue to do, so thank you.
Well, we sincerely thank you all for the consideration, and this is a legacy project. Thank you all for being part of it.
And thanks for your continued commitment. I know it's tough to keep the ball rolling on something like this. People get excited up front, lose enthusiasm after a while, but you kept it going, and we're going to get this done, looks like. So thank you.
It's a little easier when you're very passionate about it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. On to item 10C.
Motion to, I'm sorry.
H&H turf contract.
Motion to approve H&H contract in the amount of $600,000 $38,479 to complete the MHS Stadium field turf.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, comments?
So in the board, information is just an outline. I know that the board had asked for a breakdown of the exact costs along with all of the donations. So in the notes, you can see that the project is fully funded by donations, as well as the contracts that you just approved.
This was exactly what I wanted. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Chris doesn't say that often either.
Everything makes sense, so thank you.
Yeah, it's not just what you wanted. I mean, the whole board, we set out 2 or 3 years ago and basically told the organizations that were in on this, you have to fund the turf. I mean, we're putting
Communities.
a lot of money into that football complex outside of the turf, and they stepped up. The Impro Corporation has always been great to this community, and I mean, we have to thank them for their sizable donation towards this project, and it probably wouldn't be happening right now without them. But that took these gentlemen and ladies a lot of legwork to make that all happen. So it's kind of neat to have something in your community that's coming in under total donations that everybody can enjoy, and we're not asking the taxpayers to fund it. So congratulations.
Thank you. 650 youth football players, thank you as well, and their families.
The nice part is too, is the first graders are gonna play on that turf.
That's right.
And as we get a little younger, it might be a new turf, but those first graders will play on that turf, so that's pretty cool.
Any other comments or questions?
Jeremiah, can you just run through the timing on how this would happen?
Yeah, this is really timely, so I'm glad that it's happening tonight, so we can release them as soon as we go over the contracts and just assure everything's good to go from that standpoint. But this was kind of where H&H wanted the green light to go. So they can start going earlier, which means they can hire an earlier crew, which means we're getting better labor to put it together. So the bleachers are projected to be done early May, and this project would start right around that time as well. So they would have to submit their engineering now to the Plan Commission, who would do a stormwater management plan and assure everything is what it should be. Come back with any comments, and we would go from there. I'd work with Ryan and any coaches, Gridiron, anybody else that likes to be involved in the field design itself. We're not going to get crazy with colors. I think we get 3 colors and some strategic placements of logos and everything. So we'll do that soon, but it's kind of the process where we're at. Also, if anybody's looking to sod their lawn, we have some grass available.
Well, the community, I mean, we got to look at what we've all put into our high school campus in the last year or so as far as commitments. I mean, we've got a lot of projects going around the district right now between all the schools, the elementary schools, the new middle school, Mill Valley. But the high school itself is all the funding from there is outside of the referendum. None of that money from the referendum is being used on those projects. And we're able to do all of this within our existing budget while lowering the tax levy for the last 7 years. So, I mean, I'm coming up near the end of my run up here, and I'm going to walk out of here fairly proud that we were able to, improve the facilities out here for generations to be able to use. I mean, that, the fact that we have flush toilets is just amazing. That
So 20th century, right?
Yeah, how many we're coming into nearly 2020 relatively soon, and the fact that we just have our first flush toilets this past fall is kind of amazing. But the improvement to the bleachers, if anyone's been, and obviously this crowd I'm talking to is, I'm preaching to the choir here, but Muskego loves its football, and it's a community event, and it's money well spent. I know some people can, will look at and say, you should just be spending school dollars in the classroom. It's a community event. There's, the things that kids learn outside of the classroom while participating in teams like football and everything else is very important, and just as influential in their life as anything that we can teach them. So I'm proud of everything that we've been able to accomplish as a community, and I look forward to seeing that first football game on this field. So, with that being said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Got a field, guys. Moving on to item 10D, 4K provider contract.
Motion to approve contracts with Discovery Days North and South, Kids Campus, Mary Linsmeyer, and Little VIP to provide 4K programs in the 2018-2019 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
There are no changes to the contract.
All right. Any questions?
So I noticed as part of the contract, we don't see the dollar amounts, do we? I haven't seen that in there, that we're paying each of the individual,
They're actually all the same
okay?
at this point, and they are in, let me go to the appendix. They are listed in the appendix. Oh, I don't have it listed there.
Okay.
Yeah, we will bring back that dollar amount as part of the budget assumption process with a recommendation. What we do is we put the amount in there that we're paying them this year, it's not less than that amount for next year. And then if there's an increase recommended to the board, it'd be through our budget assumptions for next year.
Is it based on per student?
It's a per student amount. Right now, it's about $3,100.
Well, if you can let us know what that is.
Yes, absolutely.
And what the increase is gonna be.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes unanimously. Moving on to 10E, policy number 8510, wellness, second reading.
Motion to approve second reading of policy number 8510, wellness.
So moved.
Could I have a
Second.
second? Discussion.
Within the policy, after our last conversation, I did make a few adjustments. I highlighted those adjustments in blue to ensure that we are not overdoing the wellness policy so that it trickles into evening events and things of that sort. So not many changes, just a few word modifications so that we have flexibility within the policy. Did you want me to go through the specifics or?
No.
Okay.
No, quick enough. Unless somebody else. Chris, you said you did one?
No.
By line?
Nope.
By line.
No, we can move on. I'm comfortable moving forward. So.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Moving on to discussion items, 2018-19 budget. Anything new, or is that just a placeholder for now?
Placeholder.
All right. Any questions on the budget, as long as it's on the agenda here? Moving on to item 12, information follow-up items. The health center, we have an update on there. Anything you want to report on there besides what's on there?
We were up to 255 visits in the month of November, so very excited about the continued use of the center itself.
All right. Any specific questions for follow-up for staff to come back with?
Can I get a follow-up on, I think it was, we were here 2 or 3 years ago when we approved the formation of Warrior Nation. Just get a touch back, circle back on that, how we're doing, how many people have signed up, how many dollars it's directly contributed, et cetera.
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions or requests for information follow-up? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 7:51. Thank you, everyone.
Amazing.